On the broadcast tonight, Congress passes an incredible new bill in favor of the #MeToo movement.
The Shippensburg Borough Council is giving students a chance to speak out.
All of that and more right now on SUTV News. Thanks for joining us on SUTV News. I'm Patrick Ramsdale.
And I'm Marley Bullman. The Shippensburg Borough is sponsoring a town hall meeting at the Shippensburg Firefighters Activity Center tonight. The meeting, which began at 6:30 this evening, was designated to allow students to have a voice in the future of the Shippensburg community. Student Government President Riley Brown spoke with us yesterday about why students should have a role in the future of the community.
Shippensburg is looking to the future and is looking to what the needs of the community are. And students have an absolute right to be a part of those needs and to be a part of those wants. So that's why they should get involved for the future of the community, which then in turn affects their future here at the university.
For those that could not attend tonight's town hall and still want to have a role in the shaping of the community, you can email your ideas to Riley at sgapresident@ship.edu. APB has some upcoming events planned for students to look forward to. This weekend, there will be a White Elephant Party on Friday at 9 p.m. in McFeely's, and Saturday, there will be a murder mystery party and dinner located in the Cub NPR at 9 p.m. The following week, on Thursday, February 24th at 9 p.m. in McFeely's, you can test your knowledge of the Shippensburg campus with a competitive game of Jeopardy! Friday, February 25th at 9 p.m., Teddy Bears and Tie-Dye will be held in the Cub NPR. And you can also compete in a three-point shootout at the Shipwreck Saturday, February 26th at 5 p.m. If you'd like to keep up to date with APB events, you can follow them at ShipAPB on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And Congress has recently passed a bill that serves as a major win for the #MeToo movement. This past Thursday, Congress passed the legislation that will guarantee individuals who experience sexual harassment at work will be allowed to seek recourse within the courts. The bill will also bar all employment contracts from forcing victims of sexual assault to settle these cases through negotiation. The bill is expected to be signed by President Biden within the coming weeks and is looking to be a major victory for the future of the movement, as well as being praised as a moment of true bipartisanship within the Senate.
Last night in McFeely's, RHA hosted an event called Live at the Apollo. This open mic event was meant to celebrate Black artists and performers, as well as provide a history lesson for students on the importance of the Apollo Theater in Harlem. Performances at the event included the Harmonic Voices of Truth, the Heritage Dance Troupe, and the String and Wind Ensemble. Shippensburg University welcomes you to join them in celebrating Black History Month by attending their many upcoming events. Let Every Department Shine is a weekly series of virtual events celebrating the wide-ranging achievements of Black and African Americans in various academic disciplines. These events are held every Thursday and Friday, varying in start times. Black Experience Tribute, aka BET, is a showcase that celebrates the culture and complexities of Blackness through the arts. This event will be held February 25th at 7 p.m. in Memorial Auditorium. Brothers Bowtie Brunch Symposium, that will be a time to connect, motivate, and be inspired by leaders who make a difference locally and nationally. This event will be held in the Cub on February 26th. It will start at 9 a.m. and end at 3 p.m. Recently, Shippensburg University has been encouraging students to spread kindness around campus. Every day this month, the university had a different challenge for students and faculty, ranging from holding the door for someone, sharing a photo of a loved one, or simply just being kind to yourself. Students are encouraged to get involved by using the #ShipBeKind on Instagram and Twitter. You can also recognize individual students and staff by following @ShipWellness on Instagram and sending them a picture of the student or faculty member. In addition to support Ship Be Kind, Borough Mayor Kathy Coy declared the month of February as Shippensburg Borough's Be Kind Month.
When we come back in world news, an update on the protests in Canada.
And heavy rain in Rio leaves at least 30 people dead. Stay tuned.
What's going on around the world today?
SUTV's Colin Mays has an update.
Heavy rains that caused flooding and landslides in Petropolis in the state of Rio de Janeiro have killed 34 people so far, according to the latest report by the Rio de Janeiro Fire and Civil Defense Department. There's no estimate yet on how many people are missing. The city had more rain in one afternoon than the historical average for all of February, according to the Civil Defense of Rio. Videos released on social media show images of cars being dragged by strong currents. The municipality announced the state of public calamity in Petropolis. The city also recorded 207 phone calls related to the fire department related to heavy rains. Governor of Rio de Janeiro, Claudio Castro, is in Petropolis and announced the help of firefighters and public workers from other cities to help contain the effects of heavy rains in the city. U.S. officials are investigating a security incident in Mexico which has led to economic worries for both countries. The U.S. has suspended avocado imports from Mexico after a safety inspector received a death threat on his official cell phone. CNN's Matt Rivers has more.
Well, there's one state here in Mexico that is currently legally allowed to export avocados to the United States, and that is the state of Michoacan. And we know that since the weekend, the United States has temporarily suspended Michoacan's avocado export license. And now we're getting a little bit more information as to why that decision was taken. So according to a U.S. official with direct knowledge of the matter, a USDA safety inspector who was working here in Mexico, whose job was to make sure that the shipments of avocados bound for the United States met U.S. safety standards. One of those inspectors working in that capacity here received what this official called a credible death threat after that inspector did not allow a shipment of avocados to go from the state of Michoacan up north to the United States. Now, this official added that it's not yet known who made this death threat and that U.S. Embassy personnel from here in Mexico City have already been dispatched to the state of Michoacan to try and get to the bottom of this and figure out how to get these inspections back on track. But this official added, when we asked this official, well, how long will this temporary suspension be in place? The official said, look, there cannot be a security situation where the United States feels like these USDA safety inspectors can't do their jobs without fearing for their lives, with this official saying that this temporary suspension won't be lifted until the United States is comfortable with the security situation for these inspectors working here in Mexico. This is going to have a big impact depending on how long all of this lasts. Economically speaking, there's hundreds of thousands of jobs that rely on the export industry of these avocados here in Mexico and also in the United States. Consumers are going to see perhaps problems with avocado supply, given that Mexico is far and away the largest exporter of avocados to the U.S. market. So consumers might have trouble finding avocados in the days and weeks ahead. And if they do find those avocados, the price of the avocados that they find might very well go up, according to multiple analysts that CNN has spoken to. Matt Rivers, CNN, Mexico City.
Canada is seeing a third week of massive protests against COVID restrictions. The situation has cost the city of Ottawa at least $14 million. It has also cost the city its police chief, who has now resigned. He called the ongoing protests an unprecedented and unforeseeable crisis and says he's done all that he can. CNN's Annie Bergeron-Oliver reports.
After 19 days of community frustration fueled by the convoy protest and growing questions about the lack of enforcement by Ottawa police, the man at the helm, Police Chief Peter Slowly, has stepped down.
Chief Peter Slowly is no longer employed with the Ottawa Police Service.
Slowly's resignation comes one day after the federal government invoked the Emergencies Act, giving the government and police sweeping powers to curtail the demonstrations.
Isn't it true that the Prime Minister's actions could serve to actually make things worse and not make things better?
Exactly. This is a time for responsible leadership, not crass partisanship. The situation requires additional tools not held by other federal, provincial, or territorial law.
The RCMP and OPP have now set up an integrated command center to share information and assume control over enforcement in Ottawa. With additional help and the protests reduced to about 150 people overnight, Ottawa police say the situation has changed.
I believe we now have the resources and partners to bring a safe end to this occupation. The Ottawa police are ready, eager to do what is our part.
In downtown today, police presence appears to have grown, with some trucks on the move, including this big rig escorted out of the downtown. While the public safety minister would not provide details about when or what further police action will look like, he suggested a move could come soon.
No one wants to see another weekend like the last 3 on Wellington Street. And I'm assured by my discussions with the police that they fully appreciate that. And we now depend on them to do the job.
Ottawa police estimate there are now roughly 360 vehicles in the Corps, down from a peak of about 4,000 during the first weekend. But despite Mayor Watson's request to have vehicles centralized around Parliament, Ottawa police say the convoy hasn't really moved from the residential neighborhoods. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
That's it for World News. I'm Cullen Mays. Let's go back to Marley and Patrick at the desk.
When we come back in entertainment, we have a recap of some of the best and worst advertisements from Sunday's big game.
And we have an update on the Kodak Black shooting in LA.
We have more after the break.
Was adopted.
You know, Patrick, the heat finally arrived in Shippensburg, but that also unfortunately means so has the rain.
Yeah, and it really makes me wish that I brought my rain jacket with me today. But let's send it over to SUTV's Michael Dunnigan, who's going to tell us if this rain is sticking around.
7 days seem to be no different. Tonight, heavy rains in the area along with
Yeah,
the
you
low
always
of 42.
Don again.
You want to be sure to be extra cautious tonight as there is a wind advisory in effect that started an hour ago at 6 and will last until 9 a.m. tomorrow. Tree branches may fall and power outages are possible. The winds will be coming from the southwest and will typically be around 20 to 30 miles per hour. However, expect winds between 45 and 55 miles per hour at some points. Tomorrow, the wind cools down and we get a partly cloudy day with a high of 43 and a clear night sky with a low of 25. Heading into the weekend, we'll have a partly sunny day on Saturday with a high of 37 and a low of 17. Expect some wind and a potential flurry of snow. Sunday, we'll have a sunny day and a slightly warmer high of 43 and a low of 31. Heading into next week here, I promise your eyes do not deceive you. A nice and warm high of 62 on Monday with a low of 43. Tuesday, we continue the trend of high temps. However, it will be a cloudy day with occasional rainfall, so you still want to dress warm for that. Wednesday will be mostly cloudy with a high of 61, but we will see a steep drop in temperature Thursday and Friday as we end the week on a cloudy note with some sleet and rain possible. Just a reminder that we do have a wind advisory until tomorrow morning. Make sure to drive safe, be responsible, and wear heavy clothes. I know the weather is exciting, but it's certainly not something to be blown away over. That's it for the weather this week. I'm Michael Donegan. Now let's toss it over to Carson to give you the latest in this week's entertainment.
Sunday's big game came with many highs and lows, and that definitely goes for the advertisements as well. Here with a recap of the most memorable spots is SUTV's Adam Beam.
While many probably tuned in to Sunday's big game to see which team would come out on top, I, like many others, had my full attention on this year's advertisements. Just like previous years, though, the commercials throughout the night ended up being rather hit or miss. But just in case you didn't tune in to Sunday night, here are the best and worst ads you missed. Kicking off with some of the stronger ads from the night, the NFL had arguably one of the stranger, but arguably one of the more memorable spots with a handful of recognizable athletes running amok in a suburban home. One of the most iconic ads of the night was definitely the simplest one. It was nothing more than a 1-minute ad of a bouncing QR code. That QR code took viewers to the website for Coinbase, a cryptocurrency company. Cryptocurrency easily ruled the night by the number of ad space they took up. This also included Larry David constantly being on the wrong side of history as well in this ad for FTX. Some of the other standout ads include this motivational Toyota ad about Paralympian brothers Brian and Robert McKeever. Speaking of broships, Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen gave us a trip down memory lane with their ad for Lay's potato chips. Bud Light Seltzer finally gave us a real-life look at Flavortown when teaming up with Guy Fieri. Mike Myers returned to one of his most iconic characters alongside Seth Green to promote General Motors in this nostalgia-driven commercial. Moving over to the trailers, we also got some new looks at upcoming Marvel projects like Moon Knight and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. We also received some first looks like the Jordan Peele horror film Nope, as well as Amazon's historic Lord of the Rings series, The Rings of Power, a series with an estimated budget of $1 billion. Now taking a look at some of the ads that definitely left many viewers scratching their heads, no one had really asked for the combination of Joneses in this ad for Toyota. While the Dr. Evil appearance was a nice surprise, many were left wondering what Jim Carrey was doing in this ad for Verizon, reprising his role as the cable guy. BMW also found itself with a poorly timed advertisement when Arnold Schwarzenegger and Selma Hayek dressed up as Zeus and Hera to promote their vehicles. This comes just weeks after Schwarzenegger was involved in a very public car crash in LA. No matter what you thought of the game overall, Sunday still had some kind of commercial for everyone, and for some companies, it helped put them on the map and give them all the publicity they could possibly want. For SUTV Entertainment, I'm Adam Beam.
Netflix has finally revealed the release date for the long-anticipated 4th season of Stranger Things. However, this reveal comes with a catch. Similar to the latest season of Ozark, Stranger Things 4 will be split into 2 parts. The first half of Season 4 will premiere on May 27th, and viewers will then have to wait till July 1st to receive the second batch of episodes. This decision was made as this season is expected to be the longest one yet, and as the Duffer Brothers described, quote, "As you'll soon see for yourselves, we are hurtling towards the finale. Season 4 will be the penultimate season, and Season 5 will be the last," end quote. You can currently stream the previous 3 seasons of Stranger Things exclusively on Netflix. American rap artist Kodak Black was shot last Saturday at an after-party following a Justin Bieber concert. The incident happened outside of the Nice Guy, a Los Angeles restaurant, around 3 in the morning. A fight reportedly broke out between various individuals before the gunman opened fire. 3 other men were also shot along with the artist. Black's lawyer, Brad Cohen, has stated that the attack was unprovoked and targeted an individual Black was with. Black got shot in the leg while trying to help said individual. Thankfully, everyone involved is in stable condition, and the rapper is expected to make a full recovery. However, the suspect has not been identified and is still at large. Valentine's Day may be over, but if you're still looking for a little bit of romance, SUTV's Adam Beam is here with his review of Marry Me, starring Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson.
In recent years, rom-coms have kept to the same formula, but have certainly switched up their scenarios from time to time. However, that hasn't stopped some more familiar beats from sneaking through the cracks, like the recently released Marry Me, starring Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson. Now, when I say familiar story, I don't so much mean the main plot, more the familiar story beats. The film centers around pop star Kat Valdez, played by Jennifer Lopez, who is set to break the internet with a live concert that will culminate in the marriage between her and pop star Bastian, played by Maluma. The pop star is left in a difficult position, however, when she discovers that her husband-to-be has been cheating on her with her assistant. In order to not be humiliated in front of the world, Valdez selects one stranger from the audience to marry instead, that stranger being down-to-earth math teacher Charlie Gilbert, played by Owen Wilson. What should be just a publicity stunt, the two decide to let things play out, and of course there's romance, drama, comedy, music, montages, all that good stuff you'd expect from a rom-com.
Or I could stay married to him.
So, this movie isn't going to break any records or blow anyone's mind. Heck, there's been plenty of films where a famous person falls in love with your average Joe or Jane. Marry Me does little to differentiate itself from other rom-coms, but the best way to describe this movie is cute. It's a harmless little romp, it won't change anyone's life, but it's really not trying to do that. What helps this movie is the chemistry between our two leads. Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson are 2 very likable performers, so putting them together really benefits the movie overall. Of course, having Jennifer Lopez in your movie, you're bound to have some songs for the soundtrack. For the most part, they're catchy and sweet, and to be honest, the weakest song in the whole movie is, well, the one it's named after. Look, this movie is far from perfect. Heck, I don't even know if I can call it a good movie. However, if you're a fan of romantic comedies like I am, you'll probably get something out of this movie. I really can't dock the movie too many points since it knows what it is and doesn't try to be anything other than that. The biggest sin the movie commits, frankly, is being nearly 2 hours long, and at times you can really feel the runtime. Despite this, I don't regret seeing Marry Me, and I'm sure you won't either. The film is currently streaming on Peacock and in theaters. For SUTV Entertainment, I'm Adam Beam.
That's it for this week's entertainment. I'm Carson Devitt. Now back to Patrick and Marley at the desk.
When we come back in sports, the Raiders just keep swimming at the PSAC Championships.
We have more after this.
The men's and women's swim team are currently facing off in the PSAC championships. Going into their second day, both teams are currently placed 6th overall. The men's team came out with some strong performances in day one, with finalists in the 200 individual medley, 1,000 free, and 800 free relay. This relay saw a strong finish for Trevor Woolline, anchoring with a 1 minute and 42-second swim. For the women's team, they also saw finalists in the previously mentioned events, as well as one swimmer in the 50 freestyle. Additionally, Michaela Hirsch swam a collegiate best in the 200 individual medley with a 2 minute and 9-second swim. The Raiders are wrapping up their second day in New York right now and will swim again tomorrow and Saturday beginning at 10 a.m. Ship basketball traveled to Westchester on Monday night to take on the Golden Rams. In the women's game, the Raiders got off to an early start and continued momentum throughout the game as they had extended their lead to 18. But Westchester will come charging back and narrow the lead down to 3 with just a minute left, but the Raiders will be able to hold on for the win with a score of 71-64. And with her performances in last week's game, senior Destiny Jefferson was named the PSAC East Women's Basketball Player of the Week. In 3 games, Jefferson tallied 62 points and had 20-plus points in all 3 games. This is Jefferson's second Player of the Week honor this season. Men's basketball also played Westchester on Monday night. SUTV's Jack Ainsley recaps the action.
On Monday, the Shippensburg men's basketball team traveled to Westchester to face the Golden Rams. Early in the first half, tied up at 2, Sleva gets the rebound, brings it up, passes to Johnson. Johnson drives, puts it up, and draws the foul. Later in the half, Raiders up by 9. Johnson throws one up. At the end of the shot clock, that's no good. Biss slaps the rebound back out to Johnson, who kicks it to Biss, who pulls up for 3 and hits it. Raiders in control of this one early. Later in the half, Raiders up by 9. Cam Pollock pulls one up from 3 and hits it to cut the lead down to 6. Still in the first half, Raiders up by 4. Smith takes it coast to coast, and the Rams cut the lead down to a single basket. 5 minutes to go in the half, all tied up at 22. Smith dribbles from the three-point line, launches it, and hits it. Later in the half, Raiders down by 12. Biss steps up and hits the jumper to cut the lead down to 10. Raiders go into halftime down by 9. On to the second half, Carter steps back and fires one from 3, and it goes. Raiders trailed now by 5. Later in the half, Raiders down by 2. Hardy with the steal goes coast to coast, puts up the bucket, and it's in. We are tied at 51. Final minute, Raiders down by 1, needing a stop. Dad drives, and an offensive foul is called on Westchester. Final 10 seconds, last chance for the Raiders. Hardy hands off to Sleva, down to Johnson, puts it up at the buzzer, and it won't go. Raiders are going to fall in this one, 71-70. For SUTV Sports, I'm Jack Ainsley.
Basketball had a bye day on Wednesday this week. The Raiders return to the court on Saturday on the road at Bloomsburg. Tip-off for the women's game is at 1 p.m. Men's and women's indoor track competed at the Virginia Military Institute's Winter Classic last weekend. The Lady Raiders 4x400 relay team broke the 4-minute mark for the first time this season, tentatively placing second on the league leaderboard. On the men's side, Stephon Brown was named the PSAC Men's Indoor Track Athlete of the Week after placing second in the 60-meter and helping his team in the 4x400, with the team finishing in 4th. Indoor track heads back to Bucknell tomorrow for the Bucknell tune-up, preparing for the PSAC Championships next weekend. That's it for sports this week. Now back to Patrick and Marley at the desk.
When we come back, Miami authorities save a furry 4-legged friend.
Stay tuned. Florida authorities saved a 4-legged friend after a fall. Miami Beach Fire Rescue was called to the scene after a dog fell into the bay on Tuesday. Apparently, the canine, who's walking with its owner, came too close to the edge and toppled into the water. A crew member used a roof ladder to lower himself down to get the dog in distress. In typical fashion, the dog shook off the water once it was on land and seemed to be in good shape, considering the circumstances.
Yeah, I think my favorite part about the whole story is the dog was seemingly just unfazed. It seemed like he was just kind of going for a swim.
Who doesn't love dogs?
And that's it for SUTV News. I'm Patrick Ramsdale.
And I'm Marley Bowman. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SUTV News, and check out our website at sutvnews.org.
We'll see you next week. Good night.